am back in the Netherlands in my office. I have mixed feelings because I'm happy to be back. I'm happy to be with my Chikinagi L. But I'm also sad to be leaving my family and friends back in Canada. Like, this is the bittersweet reality of living this way, of moving abroad. And I mean, this is what I've always wanted, and it feels like I made the right decision for sure. Like, I'm very happy with my life. It just sucks when, you have to make those goodbyes, those see you laters, and it can get just like really emotional. I am pretty jet lagged. I'm still recovering. Like, I just got back yesterday, and last night was a mess. We went to bed at like 8 p.m. I woke up at midnight thinking that it was the morning, and I was literally in shock. I couldn't go back to bed, so I decided to sit in the cozy room and just watch the new show I started on the plane, actually, The White Lotus. And actually I started with season 3 because that's what was available on the plane, and I am hooked. I'm literally on the last episode already, and I'm excited to watch the finale today, and I will definitely watch the other seasons. But if you haven't heard of that show, it seems like every season is a completely different show, so it doesn't really matter if you watch it in order. Season 3, pretty cool. I really like the vibe. It's very eerie, and I don't know, I really like that kind of style, I guess. But anyways, yeah, last night was a funny mess. I think I stayed up till like 4 a.m., 5 a.m., then I finally went back to sleep, slept till like 10:30 a.m. When I woke up, I was just like an anxious mess. But luckily, I'm starting to feel like now it's almost 4 or 5 p.m. I'm starting to feel normal, back to myself. My body's starting to, feel grounded. And yeah, you know how it is, especially when you are traveling a lot. I think like definitely I've been traveling way more than I've ever traveled before. So yeah, it takes some time for the body to adjust. But anyways, for today's vlog, I want to do a little bit of a reset. It is the day after I've flown back to the Netherlands, and there's a couple things. I don't want to go too crazy, but there's a couple things I would like to do today, such as unpack, clean my room, do some laundry, and I also want to show you guys, give you a little haul slash debrief on the protocol that I'm going on for my personal health goals. For those who don't know, I have a history of autoimmune disease and thyroid issues. Actually, kind of both, because the autoimmune disease I have is Hashimoto's, which affects the thyroid gland, which I've always struggled with thyroid issues even since I was a little girl. So it's all related anyways. It has been kind of a weird journey with this. I followed a really strict protocol about 2-3 years ago that actually functioned really well. But then I started making excuses for myself, and just stopped doing the things that I was doing on the protocol, and I just started being more lenient. I was eating gluten and dairy and just pretty much like, I wouldn't say a bad diet. Like, for the average person, the diet and the lifestyle that I have would be great. But I think considering my history, I have to do the most, unfortunately. That is the reality that I was trying to avoid. And now I've come to terms with the reality, and I realize that I really, really need to go back on some sort of protocol to just help like heal my gut again, reduce inflammation in my body, balance my hormones, like really give my body extra like top-notch nutrition and lifestyle, at least for like 3 to 6 months, like where I'm really, really focused on it, and then really maintain it. Not by being so strict, but by like, yeah, making sure that I am doing what I need to do for me specifically, and like really looking at myself in a specific personalized approach. So I'm going to show you guys, I guess, some of the foods that I have, like kind of like a haul of the groceries that we got, some of the supplements that I'm going to be taking. If you're struggling with Hashimoto's or thyroid issues, I really think that it's really important to look into your own case and see what you need to do specifically and how that is affecting your body. because of course for me it's going to be completely different than it is for you. So I highly recommend, like, if you have any questions. I actually was, and I still am technically, a certified nutritional practitioner, which is why I'm so knowledgeable about this stuff. So if you have any questions, let me know. I can try to do my best to like guide you. But of course, it really requires a one-on-one, like, intensive approach. So I do recommend, if you are serious about getting your hormones in check, your gut in check, to really speak to and work with a functional practitioner, a naturopath, you know, somebody who's qualified to help you with healing your body. So yeah, that is pretty much the plan I have for myself. I would also, with that, like to clean the kitchen. We don't have that much food yet, so I think it's a perfect time to clear out the fridge, like clean it up, things like that. But yeah, this is a reset video, reset 2026. I would also like to revisit my visions and goals for the year. I've done a little bit of reflecting and I've done a little bit of kind of like goal setting already, but I'm not really set in stone with what exactly I would like to focus on. I would also like to do a little bit of fun things with my Notion, like really set it up for myself. And I also got this agenda while I was in Canada. It's nothing really special. It's just like a regular 2026 like weekly agenda. But what I like about it is that there are lines. Sometimes it's just like blank squares. So I could really make it kind of like a to-do list for the day. And of course, I got some stickers from that one stationery store near my house. So I'm excited to just kind of like revamp everything, you know, get myself organized, because yeah, I honestly only have 1 month here in the Netherlands, and then we are off for 2-ish months in Southeast Asia. So I don't know if I mentioned this, but we are going to the Philippines for a week. We have a wedding. And since we're going to be already all the way there, we're going to go back to Peanut's Mansion, which is the house, the villa that we stayed in when we were living in Bali. So we're going to be staying there for 2 months. Really excited to go back there after we've lived there for almost like half a year. So it's going to be nice to kind of have your go-to places and yeah, just be familiar with the place and kind of like explore new things as well. So I'm really excited for that. But yeah, this month I'm really going to be locking in. I have a lot of, like I said, new habits, new diet, new lifestyle, things that I really have to prioritize, which is definitely going to be, I think, the theme for 2026 for me is going to be really focused on health and wellness. So yeah, since I'm going to be here for a month, we're locking in. I'm going to keep those habits and the lifestyle while I'm traveling as well, which I know is not going to be so easy, but definitely, like I said, makes it easier going back to a place where I've lived. So I kind of know, you know, what's in, what's out for me. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Like I said, I'm going to do a little bit of cleaning, unpacking, laundry. I want to show you guys some of the foods that I'm going to be eating, like talk a little bit about my habits and lifestyle, and clean the kitchen, and then maybe just end off the day with a little bit of resetting, kind of like revamping my agenda, putting things into the calendar, fixing up my Notion boards, and going over some of my goals and things like that. So yeah, let's get into it. She went out in the snow earlier. I love her. I mean, I already unpacked quite a lot, so this is what we're working with. Nothing too crazy. wanted to film this part of the vlog because it's actually starting to get dark already. It is 4:20 p.m. And yeah, so what am I doing for my protocol? So the protocol involves kind of two bigger elements: diet and supplements. In order to really bring down the inflammation, it always begins with healing the gut. And if you have autoimmune issues, then most likely you also have food intolerances, and there are certain foods that aggravate the gut more than others, namely gluten, dairy, corn, soy. Those are like the big ones, and of course, processed sugar, because processed sugar and high sugar intake can also lead to an imbalance in the gut. So long story short, I am going to be going on a low sugar diet, and it's going to be kind of like a modified keto diet. What that means is it's going to be high protein and moderate fats and low carbs. So that's kind of the diet, nothing too crazy. This is going to help eliminate any dysbiotic microbes such as yeast, which I do have signs of overgrowth of yeast, which is also why I'm like incorporating, really focusing on the low sugar. So Candida, for example, thrives on high sugar. And so there's that. And so low sugar and especially anti-inflammatory. So no gluten, no dairy. Those are the two bigger ones, and especially gluten. Like gluten is a non-negotiable. Dairy is very, very, very dependent on the person, I would say. Like I tolerate dairy okay, but it really depends on the person. Anyways, for now, I'm going to be eliminating dairy. But I believe that it would be okay and even potentially beneficial for me to incorporate dairy in small doses later on. But gluten, unfortunately, there's not really any benefits to gluten anyways to anybody from what my experience. So for example, like what can I eat? So of course, when it comes to carbs, that's kind of where things get a little bit tricky, because you know what you eat on the side, right? Like if you're gonna have a low carb diet, for example, I am avoiding most grains, and so you know that takes off a lot of options when it comes to carbs, such as rice, such as even like gluten-free foods, and like substitutes. So yeah, it's really gonna be just protein and veggies, protein and veggies. I can have some lentils and some quinoa, which is great. So I stocked up on red lentil pasta. That came in clutch a couple years ago when I did this cleanse, when I did this protocol. So this is really great to just give me some extra fuel, some extra sustenance, because it's definitely not that easy, especially in the first few weeks, to be reducing something that I really typically eat in abundance. So we got this red lentil. They also have green pea pasta. So very happy to be finding this in the Netherlands, because I have to say they're not so, you know, like wellness product forward as we are in North America and Canada. So it's not as easy to find like grain-free chips and avocado oil cooked, you know, like banana chips. So it was really nice that my boyfriend found these at the grocery store today. I sent him with a list of things. But yeah, like I don't even know what to show you because it's mainly whole foods. We got some lemons, we got some cauliflower, spinach, arugula, cucumbers. I got some mackerels. This is a hack for those girlies who have a hard time finding a quick source of protein without needing to cook it. Mackerel cans. This is in, how do you say this in English? Sunflower oil, of course. I think avocado oil or water, or just or olive oil would probably be better, but this is a great alternative. And it's actually, it tastes good to me. Like I don't really like tuna, and tuna is not really good for you because of the mercury, and mackerel is a smaller fish, so there is less risk And you get a lot of good oils, a lot of protein, a lot of different vitamins and minerals from this. Super easy. I think this whole can is like 20 grams of protein. So this is a hack for lunches for me. Also during a cleanse and like diet like this, like I need to make this as simple and easy as possible to follow. So I need things like this that allow me to, like, when I'm hungry, to just grab and eat without feeling like, okay, what can I eat because there's nothing to eat. You know, it's not as easy as grabbing, you know, a packaged food or a processed food, of course. And like that's the point of this protocol, is to like really, really focus on whole foods, on anti-inflammatory lifestyle and diet. So it's nice to have options like this. And yeah, there's some fruits. We got, what else? He got me some frozen blueberries. He got me some almond butter, which is great. So I can make some smoothies, so I can have it with some fruit, of course. Some fruits are not, some highly sugary fruits are not recommended during the cleanse. So we'll see about that. It really is dependent on you. But yeah, eggs. We got eggs, which is great for protein, breakfast. So yeah, that was a little grocery haul. I do want to talk a little bit about the supplements. So I basically, without really showing you the specific supplements, because you know, what really matters is why and what kind of supplement you're taking. So like I said, a big part of this protocol is to cleanse and heal the gut. And so in order to do that, of course, I know, especially pairing it with the diet, there's going to be a lot of microbes that are going to start dying off, right? We're going to be eliminating a lot of the, you know, the problematic bacteria. And when they die off, they typically release toxins. And so you want to be sure that your body can handle those toxins. And so doing liver support, especially at the start of a protocol, is very helpful. So that's why I'm going to be taking a liver support supplement. This is by Designs for Health. A lot of my supplements are from them. Very high quality, practitioner grade supplements. That's the basis of it in terms of like the process. So I'm doing some elimination. I'm using a gentle antimicrobial to do the elimination of the dysbiotic bacteria and fungus. So pairing it with the liver support, these two together are great. But of course, when you are killing, you are supporting the liver and you have to support the gut. So to support the gut, I also got some probiotics. I really like using spore biotics, which are basically like kind of like very general probiotics that work with your specific gut. So it goes in there and it kind of sees what it needs and it adapts based off of the environment, which is really, really innovative for the, you know, probiotic space. So I really like the brand Microbiome Labs. So I got a bottle of that I will be taking, and I also got some mega mucosa, which helps then heal the gut lining, because of course the gut lining is what typically is damaged when we have these imbalances in our gut, and the lining of the gut is super important. Typically, if we have some sort of issues there, it is linked to autoimmunity, and of course, like I mentioned, I'm dealing with that. And so honestly, that's pretty much it. I do have some other like minerals and vitamins that I take specifically for my thyroid condition, such as selenium, zinc. I also like to take turmeric, which is an anti-inflammatory. But I just wanted to show you kind of like the basis of the types of supplements I'm taking and why. And like I said, everybody's different. And I really recommend, if you are dealing with any sort of autoimmunity or hormonal imbalances, gut issues, I really recommend you like talking to someone to see like what kind of protocol you can go on for your body, because everyone's different. And so that's why I didn't really want to like give you guys the specific names of the supplements, because in general, this is the process, right? When you are healing the gut, you need to be supporting the liver, you need to be supporting the lymphatic system, because those systems help with supporting detoxification in the body. And when you're killing things off with, you know, whether it's candida, whether it's SIBO, whether it's, you know, everybody has specific maybe imbalances in the gut too that they need to be looked at, right? And you can do a stool test for that. Like there's a lot you can do. And I'm not gonna get so detailed with it because I've kind of gone down that road before and I know what I need to do at this point. But it is a very hopeful and interesting journey because you can do something about your health. You can take your health into your own hands. And that's what I love about functional nutrition and holistic health is you can really bring the body back to balance by using food, by using herbs, right? By using natural substances and lifestyle, right? And mindset changes to really just heal your body, let it come back to balance and feel regulated again. And sometimes for some people, it requires that extra mile, that extra step than the other person. And I had to get myself out of that victim mindset, right? Because I always compared myself to my friends, to my boyfriend even, and would just feel like I was handed, you know, the short end of the stick when it comes to my health. Like, why do I have to be gluten-free? Why do I have to, you know, X, Y, Z, do the most for my health, right? Where someone could be doing not even half of these things and their health is more than fine, like better than mine, right? And so I just, you know, if this is you, I just believe that like everyone has their own journey when it comes to their health. And I believe that as soon as you can get out of that victim mindset and you can just prioritize your health and let it be what it is, right? And accept that maybe you do need to do those extra things for yourself. That is a huge act of self-trust, of self-worth, of self-love. And the sooner that you can just accept it and just start doing the things so that you can feel better, like that's just going to massively like speed up your progress and you're going to see results, you're going to feel better, you're going to have more energy. Because for the last 2-3 years, I've been in this victim mindset. I've been creating these excuses, believing that, okay, I can just eat the way my boyfriend eats. I can just, you know, exercise the way my brother does, and just comparing myself constantly and just like wondering why I can't just be like everyone else. But babe, you are unique, you are different, and not everybody's going to have the same set of genetics, of lifestyle, of environment, and everyone, yeah, instead of looking at that in a, you know, a negative way, you can look at that in a way that actually empowers you, that makes you special, right? It makes you just you, right? Like it's at least I like to be grateful that I can even do this for myself, right? That I actually can do something about it, and I have access to products, to knowledge, to food that allows me to just feel better and do what I can for my body. So that's my little spiel. I really wanted to talk about this because it is a huge, like I said, a huge part of my personal 2026 priorities. It is my priority. Number one is going to be my health and wellness journey this year. So that is that. I am going to do a little bit of cleaning in the kitchen, and I hope you guys enjoyed this definitely chatty vlog. And just to leave you off, I just want you to remember that your health is wealth. I know that was super cheesy, but like, let's just go with it.